Hello everybody, no pointless introductions today. You've read the video title, you know where this is going, so let's just get going. Number 1. Google Plus and Google accounts in general. This has been complained about literally a billion times by now, but I thought I would just get this one out of the way first. Why does everything have to be linked up and have one account? Why? Yes, I understand what they're going for, it makes sense in theory, but it just makes things a pain in the arse if you want to keep things separate, especially when there's a major shift, and the last major shift with this Google Plus bollocks back in November. It's not just about YouTube here, people. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you have a YouTube channel, and you have, say, like a private blog. Well, guess what? Because now everything is linked up by Google Plus, all your posts and pictures from your private blog will now be splattered all over your Google Plus page. Thanks, Google. It's not just that. Google are hoping that because everybody is forced to use Google Plus, everyone will have to use their real names and anonymity is taken away and it's connected to their YouTube, right? So if you cause trouble or someone simply doesn't like you, they can go to your Google Plus profile and get all your personal information and all your pictures and make your life a living hell. Thanks again, Google. Oh, and let's not forget all the time wasting that you have to do signing in and out just to read your Gmail. Good job. Good job to the idiot who thought the only thing that they shouldn't link together in this fucking Google Plus profile was your Gmail. Brilliant, well done. Small wonder that nobody uses their profiles, and if they do, they just make them look like their YouTube channel, which is what we wanted in the first place. Because, and you knew I was going to mention this, when YouTube updated in November 2013, they essentially held the comment section hostage. Unless, of course, I don't know, you signed up to a Google Plus profile. Never before in the history of the internet on this scale has something been so blatantly shoehorned into something else. And they were never going to go back on this, so I don't know why we bother complaining anymore. Because Google and YouTube clearly haven't been listening to us since about 2010. But yet we continue to make an unheard and pointless uproar every time YouTube is changed again. Because, as a well-known video games critic once said, there will be a lot of changes to come and you shouldn't fear them. You should resist them though. We've got to dig our heels in and show these changes who's the bitch before everything we've worked so hard to achieve sells itself wholesale. So I think we should continue to bitch and complain, but what good it will do, who knows. What's worse? The social media whoring. It's getting out of control now, guys. You know, I could have lied to myself, but when a site as popular as this gets all these websites as quick buttons in the sort of below bar to share this stuff over Facebook and whatnot, everything is magnified. I know in this day and age you're supposed to use every tool and every website at your disposal to whore your content around because everybody wants to be the next big thing and make money off of YouTube. The reason I don't share my YouTube content on my Facebook is because nobody cares what I have to say. Random anonymous people on YouTube care more about what I have to say than people on my own personal Facebook. My most liked Facebook post ever has something like 8 likes. Yeah, and to put that into perspective, my Sharktopus review has nearly 100,000 views. Yeah, explain that. Number 3. I'm borrowing this next point from another YouTuber because it's exactly how I feel as well, and I'll explain why. And that is slow, unedited, boring ass talk to the camera knobheads. Look, if you don't want to edit your videos, that's fine. I'm not going to make you. If the content is interesting or entertaining, fine. But if it's not, and you're just talking to the camera unedited for 10 to 20 plus minutes, with random pointless bullshit about your day or the TV that you watched last night, that's where I draw the line. And because I'm a film reviewer, I like to hear other YouTubers' opinions on films, and on a daily basis I will come across videos that can range anything from 5, 6, 7 minutes all the way up to 20 to 30 minutes, and it depends on the user, whether they just like to talk at the camera or they like to make it entertaining and use clips from the film to illustrate their points. And then there are those reviewers who just like to endlessly talk at the camera, sometimes just half interested, and just don't seem to have much enthusiasm about the film they're reviewing. But the worst of these unbearably long video review offenders that I've come across is a guy called Rambo Raff for Life, who I want to make perfectly clear I'm sure is a nice guy in real life, but oh my god, his reviews are just dull. And when he does a long video, he just doesn't know when to stop. Now granted, his stuff lately averages around 10 to 20 minutes, sometimes 40 minutes long, but he has videos ranting on movies which are like an hour 15 minutes, an hour 30. His longest video that I've seen that he's got is like more than 4 hours. And yeah, I know it's a podcast and he's talking to some other dude about films upcoming in the year, but why should that warrant 4 hours? I can't stay on one topic for more than 30 minutes, let alone 3 to 4 hours, because of my Asperger's-esque shiny object magpie syndrome brain that can't pay attention for more than 30 minutes. And after a certain period of time, I just have to move on to keep my brain stimulated before I fall into a coma of boredom and die. But when you're listening to somebody talk about a film in a YouTube video that takes the same amount of time as it would for me to actually watch that fucking film, it really is a bollock basher. Look, I understand that some people may have a lot to say about a film, a TV show, a video game, a book, or whatever. That's fine if they keep it entertaining, or if they're talking about something interesting or thought-provoking that keeps you engaged and interested for going on that long. But if it's boring and the person doesn't seem that into it, when a video review like that goes beyond 45 minutes to over an hour, you're going too fucking far. Look, if you don't want to read from a script, or if you just want to make it up off the top of your head, that's fine. But please, please, beforehand, write some notes, or even a short bullet point list of the points you want to bring up. Most people on the internet don't want to hear somebody drag on and on, or bring up the same points several times over a course of an hour and a half. You know, the same amount of time it would take for me to actually watch the fucking film that you're prattling on about. Remember the first 2 videos I made on my channel in 2010? They're still there if you want to go and check them out. Back in the days when YouTube had a time limit of 10 minutes per video. Well, the 2 videos together are just under 20 minutes long, alright? And now look at how much raw footage I had. Nearly an hour. If I can get what I want to say down from an hour to just under 20 minutes, you guys can do it too. And the editing in my early stuff isn't even sharp. It was bare bones editing in an old school version of Windows Movie Maker on a ghetto laptop. Again, with all the technology and editing software available now, if you have time to sit down and do even the most half-assed editing job in your life, then you really have no excuse. Number 4. Stupid, pointless and simply made asinine videos. I'm not going to name names here, but hint hint Mr. Repsion, who, no joke, sits in front of a camera and eats a bowl of cereal in the morning for 10 solid minutes. I know that Daniel is a user that's capable of far better than this, but that is not a video. Eating a random bowl of cereal in the morning in front of a camera is not a video, it's an ego booster. That's basically like sitting back and saying, I can upload any old bullshit and these stupid morons will comment on it, like it and comment and tell me what a legend I am for eating a bowl of cereal. Sloppily eating a bowl of cereal. I can do that. Where's my 200,000 subscribers, bitch? Number 5. The copyright and content ID system. We all know that the copyright system is easily abused and pretty much almost nearly broken right to its very core. And if you're like me and you make film reviews and use clips from movies that you're reviewing, then more often than not you'll get a content ID claim on a video, either from fake companies who don't own the material, or the studio that produced and distributed it, or, you know, from the person or estate who owns the film. I want to ask anyone else out there, is it just me, or are there an anomalously large amount of claims by Warner Brothers? Is that just me? No? Because I get claimed by these fuckers on a regular basis, no matter what I upload, or whether they own the film or not. Check this out. Here's my latest video review, which is The Shark Spectacular. Okay, so at this point in time, the same section of video has been claimed 3 times by 3 different people, right? And the film footage in question is from Mega Shark vs. Giant Octopus. So I've got no quarrels with the Asylum appearing on here, because they legitimately own and distribute it. But oh, look who's here. It's the old thorn in my arse, Warner Brothers, whose copyright claims have been stalking my channel and videos that have had nothing to do with them as far back as since the first half of 2011, and who also, funnily enough, don't own the rights to the film and are not affiliated with the Asylum in any way, shape or form. And I've got no idea who this joker thinks he is. I'm convinced that 99% of the time these companies who don't own what they claim just reach for anything to see if they can get away with it. Because once a video's been claimed, everyone piles into the gap to try and scrape what they can off you. And once you have a strike on your channel, you're now no longer allowed access to privacy. Isn't that awesome? Yes, that's right. All your unlisted and private videos go public, and so you can be searched and copyright striked again and again if you've got something that you don't own in your private videos. And they can strike you as many times as they like, and you've got no way of stopping them. Because, understand, it's all in the community guidelines, of course, and you agreed to it. You remember back in the day when you used to get a claim on a video and they'd send you an email telling you about it? Well, that still happens for some companies, but not Warner Brothers. Oh no, these bastards are allowed to bypass that system. So if you don't check your videos every 2 or 3 weeks for content ID claims, they can just stealthily put a claim on your video without you even knowing. Without you knowing or even being notified of it, come to think of it. And I'm pretty sure I set a new personal record for my channel. I genuinely managed to get a copyright claim on the shark video before I'd even clicked the fucking publish button. Up until that point, the fastest I've ever got a claim on a video was just under 5 minutes. It's a good job I'm really anal about some things and have to check in on some stuff every now and then, because otherwise I'd never know. I mean, I'd just keep signing in each day, and mysteriously my videos would just keep going down in number day by day, being deleted one by one for no reason whatsoever. Because, you'll be unsurprised to hear, in the past I've been sanctioned before. I got a 6-month strike on my account from some bitch who apparently owned a film that I was reviewing, and it was a double feature video, and it was taken down with no prior warning, no email, no flagging, no nothing. It was just removed when I got up one day. I opened up YouTube and the red box came up saying, "Yo, some bitch has claimed on your video and it's been removed." I clicked the X to get rid of the box and it was over before I knew what had happened. And yet the video had been up for 6 months prior to being taken down with no problems whatsoever. And I remember exactly the stats that it had. Oh, hang on, I've got them written down somewhere. It was 11 minutes long, and I spent about 5 minutes on the movie in question that led to the video being taken down. It Conquered the World. Yeah, 5 minutes, or even less than. And all I did was pan it and call it a piece of shit, and I gave it 1 out of 10. And the video had 132 views. Ooh, 132 views on an unmonetized video. Such a threat to your intellectual property. In all fairness, I looked it up and apparently she does own it, but why did she have to be the exception? Most lying claimers and even real owners relent after some time because my videos fall under the category of fair use. And I use film footage that's heavily edited and most of the time is pretty much muted, and I'm talking over the top of it, giving my opinion and, criticism. And finally, number 6, crowdfunding, aka lazy YouTubers trying to scab money off people. Over the last year, I have watched this crowdfunding thing just blow up on YouTube. Anybody who's now got a reasonable following now has a Patreon or an Indiegogo or sometimes a Kickstarter, and it's always inevitably people who don't need the money and can afford the shit they're asking for. I don't know whether to mention the now infamous Smosh Indiegogo campaign, to scab 250 grand off their fans for making a shitty little iPhone game, which, by the way, it's been a year since they got the money, and has this game materialised yet? Fucking nope. And their last update on their game was October last year. Yeah, Smosh, the second biggest YouTube channel on the planet, who make millions off YouTube and merchandise, took people's money, an amount that they could have paid just as easily out of their own pocket. And it's not just the big YouTube giants who do this. It seems like every man and his dog now has a Patreon. I have seen channels with 3,000 subscribers or less with a Patreon. Why? I'll tell you why. Because I have seen more and more channels over the last year or so getting fucked over by YouTube and their host networks, not paying them the accurate amount of money that they are due and owed, as well as the view counter glitch that's been around just as long as the payment issues that doesn't calculate the right amount of views and likes for everyone's videos on YouTube. And not forgetting, at the start of the year, there was all that copyright issues and abuse of the system bullshit, squeezing people out of using copyrighted material. Oh yes, and of course, YouTube is also randomly unsubscribing people to channels that they were previously following. YouTube is pissing its users off on a consistent basis, making it harder and harder for users to like this website. So it's no wonder that users and channels are having to resort to third-party websites and crowdfunding, because YouTube is financially unstable for the majority, and YouTube can't be relied upon if your channel is an important source of income, whether YouTube's your one and only source of income, or if YouTube is something you just do on the side and the money from YouTube helps you out a bit. Fix it, YouTube. Fix the issues. I'm done. That's the end. See you later, everybody.